Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to this video session for class 10th English, unit number 6, in spite of war. Objective of this video session: in this session we will try to understand paraphrasing and stanza comprehension. These are two questions in your paper related to this poetry. This is question number 3 and that is question number 4. Students, you need to understand stanza. This is a paragraph like division. Paragraph we find in prose with all rules regulation of language, and stanza, this is a type of division we find in poetry which takes within itself a single idea. In poetry, in poetic language, surface and deep meanings, allegory is there. So the reader will try to understand the philosophy of the poem, the philosophy of the poet as well as the words. And here we will try to understand key words which will help us in paraphrasing as well as in stanza comprehension. Now let's go towards our book. Page number 56. Look to your books and underline difficult words. Look at the picture and predict the theme of the poem. In spite of war, in spite of death, in spite of all men's suffering, underline this suffering, something within me laughs and sings, and I must praise with all my breath, underline. Second stanza: in spite of war, in spite of hate, lilacs are blooming at my gate, tulips are tripping down the path, in spite of war, in spite of wrath, underline wrath, blooming, tripping. Courage, the morning glory saith, underline. Rejoice, the daisy murmureth, and just to live is so divine, when fancies left their eyes to mine. The clouds are romping with the sea, and flashing waves call back to me, that naught is real but what is fair. That everywhere and everywhere a glory left through despair, though guns may roar and cannon boom, roses are born and gardens bloom, my spirit still may light its flames. At that same torch winds poppies came, where morning's altar whitely burns, lilies may lift their silver urns, in spite of war, in spite of shame. And in my ear a whispering breath, wake from the nightmare, look and see that life is not but ecstasy, in spite of war, in spite of death. Now once again, we will read words and we will try to understand key words in this poem which will help us in paraphrasing as well as in stanza comprehension. In spite of war, we need to understand the word in spite. In spite exaggerates or it extends the meaning of the idea that beside war or except war there is a huge scenario for the men. So poet here is focusing on other things for the happiness of men, in place of war. In spite of war, in spite of death, war is there, death is there. In spite of all men's sufferings, hardships, difficulties, challenges, something within me laughs and sings, and inside in my heart there is something which make me happy, and I must praise, I will appreciate with all my breath, with all my patience and with all my emotions. There is war, there is death, but still there is a lot of things which will make us happy. So optimism is there. Second stanza: in spite of war, in spite of hate in surrounding, lilacs are blooming at my gate, flowers are there, still flowers are there at my gate, tulips are tripping down the path. On the both side, on the way, on the roadside, you can watch, you can observe flowers which give you the emotions of happiness. In spite of war, in spite of wrath. Wrath means extreme anger. Third stanza: courage, mark of exclamation is there and inverted commas are there. It means that someone is speaking these words. The morning glory saith. Saith means say. You can call it related with the classical English, with the classical way of spellings. Rejoice, the daisy murmureth. Murmureth means muttered or said in low voice, rejoice. And just to live is so divine, it's something very precious, sacred to live. When pansies lift their eyes to mine, when I observe the flowers, they used to speak, they tell me to live, to stay alive. You can connect this concept with Islamic concept as well, mean we will keep our hopes alive in each and every situation, optimism. Next stanza, the clouds are romping with the sea, clouds are playing with the sea, and flashing waves call back to me, and there are shining waves to attract me. That not is real, but what is fear, but that not is real. Sorrows, war, difficulties, challenges, all these things are just, this is the idea of the mind, but still there are a lot of things in life for us, that everywhere and everywhere a glory lifts through despair. Glory is there inside despair, means day, night, day, night. In Urdu you can say that kabhi khushi, kabhi gham, gham uske baad khushi, like this. Though guns may roar and cannons boom, so you will listen to the roar and the booming of guns as well as of cannons. But along with this, roses are born and gardens bloom. Still you will find roses, you will find gardens around yourself. My spirit, my energy still may light its flame, it generate light at that same torch whence poppies came, and this is the same torch, this is the same source of energy which is provided to the poppy flowers, beautiful flowers. You may observe, or you can observe these things. So in this poem, in these stanzas, beauty is shown and the help of flowers are taken. And you know very well, flower is the symbol of beauty, flower is the symbol of love, symbol of friendship, of relation, and so many other emotions. Second last stanza of this poem, when morning altar, underline this word, this is the table for sacrifice, whitely burns, where morning altar whitely burns. Sunshine in the morning you can observe. Poet here says that you can observe sunlight during when sun rises. Lilies may lift their silver urns. Vases are raised by the lilies. In spite of war, in spite of shame, there is war, there is a shame, there are many worries in life, but still a lot of things are there in life which can make you happy. Last stanza, and in my ear a whispering breath, and something, a low voice is said in my ear, and what is that? Wake from the nightmare, wake up from this nightmare, look and see that life is not but ecstasy. Look and observe, life is what? This is a type of dream, beautiful dream, filled with happiness, with so many other beautiful emotions, in spite of war, in spite of death. Now dear students, we will do paraphrasing for each stanza, and you can find these hard notes from your bookshop of your academy. So first stanza, in spite of war, in spite of death, in spite of all men's sufferings, something within me laughs and sings, and I must praise with all my breath. So paraphrase for this, in spite of war, in spite of death, and in spite of all men's suffering, there is something within me who sings and laughs joyfully inside. I have to praise it with all heart. You need to understand rules, regulation for paraphrasing. Paraphrasing only you will change language from poetry to prose. No exaggeration is accepted there. Your personal explanation, keep those things with your own self. You will only change the idea of poet from poetry to prose. So in paraphrasing you need to understand these things. Second stanza, in spite of war, in spite of hate, lilies are blooming at my gate, and tulips are growing on the both sides of the path. In spite of war, in spite of extreme anger. Stanza number third, courage. Courage, the morning glory saith, rejoice, the daisy murmureth, and just to live is so divine. When pansies lift their eyes to mine, the morning glory says to have courage, and the little daisy whispers, rejoice, because living is so divine, something very sacred, precious, holy, where pansies bloom and my eyes meet with theirs. Fourth stanza, the clouds are romping with the sea, playing with the sea, and flashing waves call back to me that naught is real, but what is fair. That everywhere and everywhere a glory lift despair. Paraphrase, the clouds are romping with the sea and flashing waves are calling me back. The failure is real, but that is fear, a glory that lives through despair and which is everywhere and everywhere. Fifth stanza, though guns may roar and cannon boom, roses are born and gardens bloom, my spirit still may light its flame. At that same torch whence is old classical, underline it, it means where poppies came, where. Though guns may roar and cannons may boom, but the roses are born and blooming in the garden. My spirit still may light its flame at the place where poppies came. Stanza number 6. Now there are 3 lines in this stanza. Where morning's altar, table for sacrifice, whitely burns, lilies may left their silver urns, in spite of war, in spite of shame. Stanza for this, paraphrase for this stanza, dear students, you can get these notes from your bookshop. In spite of war, in spite of shame, the morning altar whitely burns, and lilies may left their silver urns to show the beauty of the nature. Now last stanza. This is the result conclusion of this poem, or you can say that this is the stanza which can provide us the theme or the message of this poem. And in my ear, a whispering breath, wake from the nightmare, look and see that life is not but ecstasy. Ecstasy, beautiful word, underline, and you need to understand the meaning. Ecstasy, dreaming or something unbelievable, but that's a fine and beautiful experience. In spite of war, in spite of death. In my ear, someone whispers to wake up from the nightmare. Look and see all around you that life is not a failure, but life is an ecstasy in spite of war, in spite of death. So optimism is there in this poem. Page number 57, about the poet. This is important section. This is for the purpose to give tribute to this poetess. Angela Morgan was born in 1875 in Washington, D.C. Her given name at birth was Nina Lillian, which she later changed to Angela. Her career as a writer started as a journalist for Chicago and New York newspapers before World War I. Her most productive years were from 1914 to 1940. Morgan's pieces were published in major magazines. She also wrote 14 books of poems, 1 novel, and a book of short stories. She passed away on January 24, 1957 in New York. Glossary words. This is also very important section for comprehension. So that's why keep your eyes focused and try to learn. Lilacs, a Eurasian shrub or a small tree of the olive family, which is fragrant violet pink or white blossom and is a popular garden ornamental. Urn, a tall rounded vase with a stem and base. Tripping, catch one's foot on something and stumble or fall. Tripping, playing or murmureth, a softly spoken or almost unaudible utterance. Pansies, a plant possessing a distinctive purple tint. Altar, a table or flat-topped block used as the focus for a religious ritual, especially for making sacrifices or offering. Wrath, extreme anger. Ecstasy, an overwhelming feeling of great happiness or joyful excitement dropping, especially of a child or animal. Play roughly and energetically. Exercise comprehension. This is on page number 58. Answer the following questions. Detailed answers are there in notes. Question number 1. What are the things that thrive, which improves despite the ravages of war? The nature is the thing that thrives despite the ravage of the war. Nature tries to keep its balance in spite of all the destruction happening. The sun rises each day, the flowers bloom, the stars shine. It means that nature never stops at all. It always finds a way for itself to flourish. Question number 2. For answering any question, you need to first understand the question. What are some of the different words and images used in the poem that convey the emotion of loss? Which words? There are many words related with war which give us the glimpses of loss. There are many words that convey the emotions of loss, like death, suffering, hate, war, despair, gun roaring, cannon booming, and nightmare. Question number 3 in poem. In spite of war, there are several examples of personification. Identify 2 examples of personification. You need to understand personification, giving human quality to animal or animal quality to human, or giving living quality to non-living, or vice versa. So this is your task. Just understand and take out your pencil and attempt this question number 3. Question number 4. Make a list of the words that tell you about the tone of poem in spite of war. Tone of the poem is very soft, and it's telling us optimism. A type of advice is there in this poem, and explain how those words tell us what the tone is. Use examples from the poem to back up your reasoning. A lot of ideas are there, a lot of lines are there in poem teaching us we will keep our hopes alive. So the tone of this poem means it's a message, with a soft poem providing us some message. What is the theme of the poem in spite of war? In this poem, Angela Morgan shares that despite of devastating war raging on everything in nature continued as if nothing was happening. Life continues even when troubled things happen. So this poem encourages us to look at the beauty around us rather than on the negative aspect of our lives. Choose the correct option number B. According to Angela Morgan, despite death and destructive of war, life springs in the form of dash A, B, C or D. So option number A is correct answer according to Angela. Option number A, natural beauty. Number 2, when poppies, pansies left their eyes to mine. In this line, the poet has used the poetic device of simile, metaphor, personification, alliteration. So there is personification in this MCQs. Number 3, the word boom, roar, murmureth and whispering breath is the example of A, B, C or D. So this is the example of D, onomatopoeia. Number 4, according to the poet Angela Morgan, life is the name of ecstasy and elation. The tone of the poem is optimistic. It is optimism. Page number 59, grammar. Adjective, phrase. First of all, we need to understand phrase. Very simple, very well known in English grammar. Group of words which provide us incomplete meaning in itself. In sentence, it will provide you with a very beautiful meaning. An adjective phrase or an adjectival phrase is a phrase that tells us something about the noun. It is modifying. Very simple. Adjective phrase will act as an adjective. The head principal word is an adjective phrase will be an adjective. Underline. This is important for your examination. Section A. Like a normal adjective, an adjective phrase can be used before the noun, it is modifying, or after the noun, it is modifying. Example of adjective phrase: she had extremely catching eyes. Extremely catching eyes is the adjective phrase. Extremely catching, two words are there, and two words are changing the meaning of this noun eye. So this is phrase. Try to understand this. Extremely catching. Second example: the dog covered in mud is mine. So this is next phrase. Covered in mud, three words are there, a group of words. In itself it is incomplete, but in sentence will provide you a great meaning. More examples of adjective phrase: the extremely tired lioness is losing patience with her overly enthusiastic. My father was fairly unhappy. The consequences of agreeing were far too serious, and etc. So adjective phrase will act, if the phrase which will act as an adjective will be the adjective phrase. Next, adjective clause. Then there is a difference between phrase and clause. This is also a group of words, but this is the part of a larger sentence with subject and verb. Subject and verb is very important. Part of a larger sentence with subject and verb groups. So each group will be clause. So multiple clauses are also very possible in complex sentences or in compound sentences, independent clauses, dependent clauses, and so many other. So clause is part of a larger sentence, specific identity with subject and with verb. Phrase, group of words, no subject and verb is there. If you will find subject and verb there in it, then you will call it clause. First, it will contain a subject and verb. This is in your book on page number 61. Next, it will begin with a relative pronoun who, whom, whose, date or which, or a relative adverb when, where or why. Finally, it will function as an adjective answering the question what kind, how many or which one. The rate that Tahir saw yesterday was in the kitchen earlier. So, this is the example of clause. That I like the most. That I like the most. I, subject, like, this is verb for you. More examples of adjective clause in your book. We are reading the book that I like the best. Mr. Javed is the teacher who helped me with my math problems. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you will find this video fruitful towards your studies. Wassalam.